What is happening, fellow van builders? Welcome back to Van Dingo. My name is Scott, and I am working on the fixed bed. And that is 4x8 sheets of sand ply. It's a product out of, in this case, it's out of Ecuador, and it's resistant to moisture, whereas normal plywood will really soak up the moisture. Including, I hear, Baltic birch. So this is the plywood I chose. It's 1/2 inch, and I've just been busy sort of notching out the back and the back. I can't make the fingers point the right direction. Out the back on each side. I'll show you that. This is going to fit the short queen that we ordered, and there's more work to be done here, but let me show you a little bit more detail. All right, as you can see, it's laying up under the Scorva bed struts from IKEA. The length on this is 66 inches long on side to side, right? And these are the cutouts that I made in order to fit the door. And these were really fairly simple. You just put a square up next to here to get the same angle on the door. Bump out the distance you need from the far end of the bed, and then just cut those out. And I sanded all the edges and around the corners so it had a nice finish to it. And that way, when you're running your hands on it, you know, you're not going to pull up splinters and all that kind of thing. So the plan is to put some sort of urethane across this whole, these two pieces. And I've got two pieces, and I'll show you in a second how I put them together. And then, you know, before I put the urethane on, I'm going to drill holes out so that I can get some air circulation up through the mattress. So some might ask, why are we spending time on this bed platform when the floor's not done and some of the other pieces haven't gone in yet? Well, real simple issue right over here. I haven't gotten the custom stainless steel pan yet from Killarney Metals, a specialty company that's building that for me, and that's coming at the end of the month. Once that comes in, I'm going to finish out the rest of the floor. Quick look at the tools of the trade needed for this job. Obviously, you've got to have your measuring tape, square, so that you can balance out and straighten up the long cuts. I use this corded hand sander to clean everything up around the edges, because as you grab these pieces and move them around, you don't want cuts. And of course, the trusty DeWalt electric saw. Tools of the trade. Oh, and let's not forget a very important piece: eye protection. All right, let's jump inside. Just as a reminder, I got the funky two-door, two-slider version. And I mentioned already what I'm waiting on here is the custom pan. That's going to go right there. And then up here, got our sand ply. And you can see, just pulling this back, I've cut it. That piece right there is 48 inches wide and 66 and a half side to side, notched out in the back, as I showed you before. And then this piece that I'm putting back here so it doesn't fall. This piece is simply 25 inches. And so the mattress is going to hang off the back just a little bit. It's 75 inches in total, and come out to this edge. I think we're in pretty good shape in terms of measurements in the van and where everything's going to go. So just eyeballing it, here is the end of the bed, and I've got probably 5 inches or so before I get to the shower wall. This is the shower pan, custom shower pan that I was referring to. Before I get to that wall, and then that'll allow me to, I either put in plumbing behind in that section down to, up to the shower head, or yeah, that's probably the best place to do it, coming off the water lines. So I'm in good shape in terms of measurements at this point. And then from here, shower pan, thought process is we're going to have a Nature's Head compostable toilet that this side of the shower will have ability for the compostable toilet that'll slide in and out of the shower. And when it slides out, it'll come into the area where there's just a seat here. And that's sort of the plan that is coming together in my head. We'll see what happens when we get down to it. Okay, so made a trip to Lowe's, and I got these Allen key flathead 1/4 inch screws. Got 2 of those. Let me see if I can pull out a little bit here. 2 of those on this first plank right here. And the back notches into the doors, so that'll hold it. But I went ahead and screwed in 4 of them. And there are holes that are already in those Scorva planks from IKEA. And I put, let's see if I can show you. I put these hand crank bolts on them so that they can easily be pulled out if needed for whatever. Cargo, transportation, whatever. Let me show you those. So there's the hand crank bolt. That was from Lowe's. And then I put a lock washer up above that between the Scorva plank to hold that down. So those are those notched out areas, right? And the wood just sits right up against that pillar. So I'm not worried about it sliding, but I went ahead and put some of these screws in here anyway. And then I've got a little bit of space here. So I'm thinking that the mattress is gonna come out about this far and hang over just a little bit. And I'm thinking it's time to unfurl that mattress. Even though this wood is not, I haven't put the holes in it, and I haven't put the urethane in it yet. I wanna lay this mattress out, and I think I wanna drive around with it a little bit and see if I'm getting any noise on these tracks. When I put the wood down, there's some noise that comes from those when there's no weight at all on here. And that noise came down drastically after I put this on here. It's not ongoing, very hard, undetectable. A couple of squeaks here and there. I want to put the mattress, which weighs quite a bit, out here and unfurl it, which is a bit of a pain in the butt because once you unfurl it, then you got to deal with it. But I do want to drive that around and see what if any noise comes out of this track setup that I have here. "10" midway between flush and firm, and this is a short queen. Oh, and they give you a cutting tool to open up so you don't cut the mattress while you're opening it. That's nice. Nice job, Lucid. Sure does look a little strange to me. Oh, help if we open this thing up. Here we go. Thing's already starting to expand. Look at that. There she comes. Let's see. What side goes down? Well, let's just say this side. cool. Sorry. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's cool. Okay, that's all the way back. Looks like on the back windows. Back door. And this is right on the money. So the directions say like 24 hours you got to wait before you use it as it creates its loft, brings its loft back. So I think this is cool. Some would say bring your platform up a little higher, and I get that, you know, particularly if you were going to put bikes down here. But I could lay the bikes over and put them in a drawer flat. I've seen some YouTubers who have done that, and that looks doable. And frankly, we could build a step in, but as we get into our advanced years, not talking about those years, how far you got to climb up this thing is something to think about. So, but that's cool. I think that's going to be really comfortable. Maybe even more comfortable than our home bed. I got to get a mattress cover on that thing because I'm going to need to pull it out and do all the rest of the work. But for now, it was good to see that it fits. Spacing's right. And I'm really pleased with it. Here's a look at it from just about up on the driver's seat. And I got a galley that's going to go over here, this side. This side will be the shower in that area. And yeah, coming together. All right, good afternoon. A couple days later, I'm working on those breathing holes, air holes that should go up through the plyboard so that your mattress can breathe nicely and not have mold and mildew and those kinds of things showing up. So starting that project today. Let's take a look. All right, I've gone through and I've marked the wood in the areas where I think, and it's a bit random. I didn't want to put them too close together, so we ended up with weaknesses, right, in various sections. All right, tools of the trade for today. You've got your drill, of course. This is a Milwaukee Dozer 7/8 or 22 millimeter bit. And so we're gonna just simply dive into this. Just need to pry that out once it cools down a little bit, a little warm. Pry that baby out, and that's the first hole. And we'll sand that up a bit. That looks pretty good. All right, what's happening, guys? Working on this part of the platform bed, and flipped it over and realized that the holes that I drilled through here have pulled a lot of the plywood up. So I'm gonna go ahead and sand this down. and file it off where necessary and prepare it so that I can put a some sort of sealant on it. Not quite sure what I'm going to use for the sealant, but need to get these holes cleaned up so that they don't catch people's skin when you're up and around and moving around in the van. Even though there will be a mattress on the top side of this, on the bottom side, I don't need splinters coming off of it. So I'm going to clean this up and get it ready for the next step. All right, gang, I got this all cleaned up here, sanded down a little bit more and cleaned out these sort of breathing holes for the mattress that's going to be on here. And what I'm going to go with is just this butcher block from Watco. This is like an oil finish. It's not necessarily intended for this, but I don't want to put additional sort of chemical, you know, plastic component in here that will off gas even more. I think the laminate, you know, and the glue's already in this wood is going to provide enough of that, so no need to put even more on. So I'm going to put this on. I think it'll work. We're going to experiment, see how it goes. See whether or not that changed things. No, not really. Just a light color. Very mild smell, so you can tell already it's probably not as toxic as some of those other applications you might consider. But to each his own. I don't see this getting out into the elements much, getting wet, or much wear and tear, frankly, because there'll be a mattress on it. So for me, it's a little bit of a wood preservative. And that's about it. I'm pushing a little bit down into these holes, because there's a bunch of drill marks down in there. My teeth grabbed it. Corners. Like finger painting. All right, round one. All right, get a little goop off the hands. I'm gonna flip this over once this dries and do the other side. Feels like only one coat might be necessary. All right, learned very clearly that a rubber glove is essential. Otherwise, you're going to be using paint thinner like I did to get this sticky stuff off your hands. So I have dried out and finished the other side, and now we're putting the Watco butcher block oil and finish on this side. So in my case, I'm just sanding it down the best I can, and I think this oil effort will soften these splinters up, because I sanded them, and make them a little bit more supple so that they don't splinter again. If you're up underneath the garage section, right, and you're storing things or moving around in there, you won't have, hopefully, any issues with that side of things. So when you're out in the wild, having a good time, you don't have splinters stuck in your neck and head and back, because this thing went a little crazy on you. That's the hope anyway. Let this dry, and we'll slap the back up there, screw it down, and then we'll grab the other one, the other bigger platform, and we'll put the same, maybe not as many holes, but we'll put the same sort of breathability holes in here and get this job further along. All right, this is probably dried long enough. This right in here. Okay, I've decided to go with 1 1/8 and space out the holes a little bit more over here based on what I was seeing on YouTube from other van builders. Didn't need to have as many holes and as small of a holes on this first one. So I'm just gonna sort of space it out a little bit more. Let's get after this final little section here. All right, we got these holes drilled all along there. All right, we got the big platform out. All the holes are done. Now you see how rough they are and pieces of the plywood have pulled up. We need to sand that out like we did the other panel. And flip it over. This is the underside, not the top side. So we're gonna do this one first, clean it up, flip it over, clean it up. That piece is looking a little golden after we put the seal on it, the oil. And now let's go get the other one and plop it in there. All right, so that was a little tiring, but we got the plywood finished for the bed platform. We got the air circulation holes in here sanded down and the oil put on it. And I think we're done. I'm gonna toss that mattress up on here and store it. And we're gonna move on to the next project. So thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed it. Hit that like button, subscribe, throw comments in the comment section. Love to respond, and we'll keep this project going. Thanks. Be good. Bye-bye.